Hey guys, so generally when you listen to jazz pianists, they tend to voice chords with both hands. Right? Rather than just one hand. Now the reason that's done is because it gives you a much more sort of balanced and a fuller sound, because you're including a bass, a middle and a treble part. And so it sort of just sounds much more rounded and much nicer. Now a good way to start practicing playing chord voicings with two hands is by playing 3-note chords. And essentially what that means is playing the bass in your left hand, just one note, and then the 3rd and the 7th in your right hand. So that would be a C major 7, bass 3, 7. And so if you take a 2-5-1 in the key of C major, you'd have something like this. So that's the 3rd and the 7th of D, the 7th and the 3rd, the 3rd and the 7th. And you sort of want to keep it close, you don't want to be jumping around too much. So now I should say just quickly, when you're voicing two-handed chords, you really want to keep the intervals in the bass quite wide, because if you have too many notes too close together in the bass, it starts to sound really muddy and messy, and that's essentially because of the overtone series, which is a little bit technical, so it doesn't matter. But in these 3-note voicings, that doesn't really play a part. It's not important because you're only playing one note in the bass at a time. But I thought I might just mention that as a general principle. So now when you get a new song, sit down and learn the chord progression using this 3-note, two-handed chord voicings. So for example, we take Georgia on My Mind, it would be something like... Right, that's just section A of Georgia on My Mind. And so on top of that chord voicing, you can then add the melody. Right, so I used that same 3 chords, two-handed voicings, and then added the melody over the top of that. And that sounds quite nice because it's got that bass part, that middle part with the chord, and the treble where the melody's playing. Now on top of this basic 3-note voicing, you can then add extra notes like 5ths or 9ths or flat 9ths or 13ths. And a good way of starting to do this is over a 2-5-1. So over the 2, play the 5. Over the 5, play the 9, which is the same note, and then over the 1, play the 5 and the 9. Right? Or another way to modify that and make that sound even a little bit more interesting is over the 2, play the 5, over the 5, play the flat 9, so it's moved down a semitone, and then over the 1, play the 5 and the 9 again. So we've got... Right, so it's the same basic idea. We've still got those 3-note voicings, the bass in the left hand, the 3 and the 7 in the right hand, but we're just adding a note here or there. So if I were to play Georgia on My Mind using sort of these little extensions, it could sound something like this. Right, so I've got the 5 in there, the 5's there, then that goes to a flat 9, 5 there, 5, 5, or you can even make that sort of a E7 looking sound. Again, 5 in there. I've got a flat 13 in there over the D7, which makes it sound a bit more interesting. 5 in there. Again, flat 9 in there. So that sounded a little bit more interesting, a little bit more harmonically complex. The 3-note voicings had the 5 in there for the major and minor chords, and the flat 9 for the dominant chords. And using those kind of ideas, you can have a much more sort of rounded and more balanced song in terms of voicings, because you've got that bass part, that middle part, and the melody in the top part, with a couple sort of accidentals or alterations like the flat 9s thrown in. Cool, so practice that up, see how you go. Again, if you've got any questions or comments, feel free to comment in the video. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.